This is Richard Wolff with another Wolff Responds. There is no labor shortage. What there is a job shortage. And if you find that a little bit alarming, given the mass media, let me remind you that people from different ideological perspectives, people in different classes, see the world very differently. For some people, what happened at the government capitol in Washington on January 6th were freedom fighters trying to contest a stolen election. For others, they were right-wing quasi-fascists completing an assault on democracy. And there are a lot of others, too. Let's look at this honestly in terms of the so-called labor shortage. Here's the problem. It's a job shortage. That's right. There aren't enough jobs that people want. And by that I mean something very specific. A job that it's safe to go back to. Safe in the sense of social distancing. Safe in the sense of vaccination. Safe in the sense of clean and sanitized on a regular basis, with people tested on a regular basis. Has the employer created safe conditions for these jobs? Are they adequate, these jobs? And the answer is no. There's a shortage of them. Why? Because the employers don't want to spend the money to make the place safe. Number two, employers don't want to spend money either to make for better working conditions. Millions of Americans were unemployed for part or all of the last 16 months. They learned that often the conditions at home, where they had to stay, were a lot better than the conditions provided by their employer. And they came back with a reasonable demand they should have made earlier. We want some decent conditions. Bathrooms, decent ones. Access to water. Access to a little bit of ability to get up and walk around in a pleasant place. To make the job decent. There's a real shortage of decent jobs, isn't there? Number three, people who've been unemployed, even if it's only a few weeks out of the last 16 months, have had a hard time, terribly afraid of the illness, maybe having to struggle with the illness, maybe having to do all kinds of special things that cost money while they weren't earning much. So they need jobs to go back to that will pay them not only what they need now, but to make up for what they could not afford while they weren't working. There's also the matter of the inflation we now have. Over the last year, prices rose roughly 5%. So the wages you get now would have to be 5% more than what you got before just to enable you to buy the same things, because they all cost 5% more. So a good job is one that pays better, has better conditions, and is safe. And you know what? There's a shortage of those. That's why people aren't there to take them. To call it a labor shortage is an employer's ploy. And don't be fooled. Here's what it means. We don't find people that are willing to come back to jobs that we haven't made safe, with conditions we haven't improved, and with wages we haven't made adequate to the realities people face. We don't want to call that our failure. We want to call it theirs. And you know what we're going to do to show what decent people we are? We're going to work real hard on the politicians we donate to get them to take away the extra $300 per week given to the unemployed to cope with the worst crash plus pandemic in American history. We're going to take it away and force them back to work because they're not going to have that money and they're going to be desperate. And maybe, we hope, in their desperation, they won't worry that we don't have jobs with safety, good conditions, and decent pay. They won't mind. In other countries, this is called forced labor. It's now the law in 25 out of the 50 states of the United States, and it will become true across the board in September. Don't be fooled. There's no labor shortage. The shortage we have is decent jobs for our people. This is Richard Wolff for Democracy at Work.